And look at this, the combat shield only halfway done, and we see Morrow struggling to build additional missile turrets in his own main base, taking a ton of damage, and now it looks like July will end up pulling back. And against any other Zerg who had a slightly slower Spire, Morrow would have been able to do a good amount of damage with that very unusual timing push, but instead he was moving out at the exact wrong time, and now we see an armory going down. That could be a sign that Morrow really is feeling like he needs to get Thors up.
Yeah, I mean, he's got combat shield upgrade on the way, but still without stim anywhere near in sight. I feel like his ability to move out on the map and be a threat is still minutes away at best. And July is playing to that by doing so much harass and forcing static defenses. It's really keeping Morrow close to home, where July can exactly where he wants him.
We see more missile turrets going down from Morrow, a huge amount of missile turrets, as a matter of fact, and this counterattack positioning by July could be absolutely devastating. We see the +1 attack nearing completion for July as well, so those Banelings are going to be especially damaging. July now getting up geysers 5 and 6 at his third base, and a fourth base going up at the gold. Morrow's going to have to act quick if he wants to be able to regain momentum in this match.
Yes, and sitting off the backs, I mean, he does have a lot of tanks here. He's got 5 tanks, and again, against that kind of Baneling composition, this is really kind of a wheelhouse number. And now it looks like he's going to start to continue to get the tanks on. He's just trying to recover Day. I don't know if he forgot Stim Pack upgrade or this is a part of his build, but I really feel like those fast mutas threw him for a loop.
Well, I mean, there was an era where Terrans realized how powerful tanks were against Banelings and were doing everything they could to begin getting those tank numbers high. That's exactly why Morrow did this opening. We can already see his tank count getting quite high for that first push. We'll have 7 or 8 tanks then. But the problem is that it was delaying the tech lab by so long on the barracks, and now it looks like July's going to be able to swing in, maybe do a little bit more damage. But man, Morrow has his whole base on total lockdown, and interestingly, might be able to do a push with 2-1 upgrades.
Yeah, he's upgrading really well off those engineering bases. He's also adding a Thor to the composition now too, which I think complicates the attack potential for July. Meanwhile, July is getting that second air upgrade attack as well as melee, and he's been pumping out the drones, Brett.
Yeah, wow.
He's now up to 77 drones and taking the high yield, so Morrow does have his third command center construction. I know that once he gets that high yield base, it's like it's in God mode. It's really hard for Zerg to dislodge that, so it's going to kind of come down to that point of contention.
Infestation Pit going down now. 4-star Tails. July hanging out at 159 food. Despite all the early combat trades that went on, there has not really been too much poking and prodding by either player. July very cautious with these Mutalisks, still keeping a small pack of Zerglings for counterattack, and July positioning his Banelings. I don't know if this necessarily means anything at this point, but Morrow's moving out. There's some vulnerability at the back end, and this could be a potential counterattack route for the Zerg.
Yeah, he's building missile turrets, but those are not going to help you against the Baneling counter. Now a Thor making its way over here, getting some pepper damage in on those mutas, but honestly, look at that muta count. It's only 9. He does not have a lot of mutas, but we're going to have a big fight here. Siege tanks getting good shots down.
Huge shots going down by those siege tanks. The siege tanks fall almost immediately, but look at that great splitting by Morrow. He is able to rip apart those Banelings with minimal losses on his Marines. But keep in mind, Jeff, those tanks, every single one of them down. Only 2 Thors and 34 Marines remain, and July making a lot of Banelings, 48 Banelings in production.
And against a Marine-only composition with a couple of Thors, that is a nightmare. Again, the mutas are going down, but you know what? July never really went mutalist, which was kind of weird because he's finishing up his second air upgrade attack. And here come the Banelings. The Planetary Fortress not yet complete. July wants blood.
My goodness, takes it down almost immediately. Zerglings and Banelings swarming in from all angles. Morrow is going to be able to hold, but he is going to have to rebuild that command center almost immediately. In the meantime, July Zerg taking the left base and the right base at the same time.
He's just everywhere, taking both those expansions. Again, funneling most of his economy in Banelings. He's got 15 on the way as well as 6 Infestors, and those Infestors really complicate the Marines. A big part of why Morrow's still standing is his great Marine spread each time the attack comes.
But I mean, Morrow's going to have to put some pressure back on July. The foods are staying relatively even, but a little more momentum is swinging to Zerg every single attack due to the fact that more geysers are going under Zerg control. And there's the counterattack, and the supply depots are not burrowed. streams right into the back base, and now Morrow will have to pull back absolutely everything, taking massive damage. Morrow pulling all his Marines back. July's losing a lot of those Zerglings, but I don't think it was ever July's intention to keep those Zerglings alive for long. He is going to be freeing up his food for bigger units.
And these Zerglings got forgot in the mineral line. They're doing so much damage. Honestly, Sean, I was ready to call that attack a huge blunder for the Zerg, but after those Zerglings just killed like 10.
Oh, 39 workers killed for July. But keep in mind, though, the army from Morrow is much bigger. 78 army supply to 55 army supply for July. But July just has such good production, and with those infestors out with the Baneling mix, and look at all the spine crawlers just strewn across the center of the map. This is going to be a huge play for July, as he is now getting a greater spire.
And he has the highly volatile Ling Baneling composition. And I say volatile because it's either like the greatest thing in the world, or if the Terran player controls it really well, it just gets decimated. So both these players are kind of teetering on utter destruction, and I feel like the impetus is on Morrow to really respond to this, but it looks like July is going to push the issue as he's coming across the map.
Not the greatest, but still has control over almost the entire map. No drops have really popped out for July or Morrow at this point. We see the infestors now swinging along the backside.
Hit squad.
Oh my, is this the 6 infestor hit squad, Jeff?
The depots are up, though. The depots are up, so they cannot get past that. July is actually going to go ahead and just kind of walk him over here. They do not have burrow, and they're going to have to drop some infested Terrans. That's exactly what he does.
And it looks like these infested Terrans will be able to kill these supply depots and then begin the longest journey over to the left. And their Marines are going to arrive, be able to take them out. But keep in mind, these are not actual losses for July. This is just energy spent, and Morrow has the big push planned. But oh no, the Greater Spire is just finished.
6 Broodlords are morphing. And it looks like the Zerg's going to swing around the right side. He does not want to tinker around with that positioning. Now going for the Planetary Fortress.
Uh-oh,
gets the surround.
And he takes it down.
And it does go down. Morrow's trying to apply pressure to that base, but Sean, these Broodlords are going to have a word with Morrow.
Oh no, Jeff, the tanks picked off while sieging infestors, throwing down some beautiful fungal growths, and the Broodlords to follow it up. Morrow, having to do a total retreat, is sprinting some units to the left to be able to take out an expansion, but as we've seen, Morrow is just getting his gold battered again and again. Virtually no income for the Terran player.
And he is hanging in there in supply, but honestly, these infestors really worry me. Those Marines wander too far forward, and they're all going to go down. It looks like we have a march towards those Broodlords. Infestors lurking in the background. All the Thors are down, and now Zerglings streaming forward. The Marines are cleaning it up, but at what cost? The Broodlords seem to be untouchable. Huge fungal growth. And now the Marines trying to get in under there, but it's just too much stuff.
Oh, and more Zerglings swinging forward. Morrow does not have that many barracks. He's only producing Marines 5 at a time, trying to control well. He does have those beautiful 3-2 upgrades, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. These 5 Broodlords are undefended. He manages to take out 1, 2. If he can clean these other ones up, he might have a glimpse of hope. But look at the fungal! Oh, a brutal fungal growth cleans up that Marine cluster.
And July seems to be unstoppable with a fully saturated right side expansion. Now even saving his left side expansion, taking that as well. It is a 6 base July versus a 2.15 base Morrow, and that is not a place you want to be.
An 1/8 of a base is not what you want in StarCraft 2, and now it looks like July stockpiling up infestors and is going to go God of War mode very soon. A pack of Banelings morphs in, slides down the left side of the map. Marines trying to sprint forward, but there are very few on the map, and the Banelings again going straight for the planetary, and they get it! And SCV's getting fungal, nowhere to go, and good game. GG. A clean win